Okay, so I don't have the best attention span for some kinds of games, because if a game doesn't really offer any kind of interest or reward, or if it has a long learning curve where I can be spending the time doing anything else, then yeah, I'm notorious for not liking card games for that reason, and turn-based strategies just for general impatience. So with all that in mind, let's look at this month's Humble Choice, and yeah. So this is going to be a shorter version, hopefully, of the Humble Choice video that I do for the regular channel. Let's have a look at what we got. So, Warhammer 40k Boltgun. Very instant reward, lots of shooting in the face, lots of stabbing in the face, lots of running around. Reminds me of Doom and Heretic and Hexen and Rise of the Triad, all that kind of 90s era of games. A lot of fun. Don't know if it will wear thin very quickly or not. Even after the first level or two, I was kind of thinking, is this it? Is there anything else interesting? Does it keep getting bigger, or is it just more of the same? So far it's okay, but it might get dropped very, very quickly. Luckily, it's good on the Steam Deck, so I can just play it while being bored and sat in front of the TV. Next, we have Soul Reaver 1 and 2 Remastered. Big fan of these games back in the 2000s on the Dreamcast. Had problems with the PC versions before it was remastered. Couldn't skip the cutscenes, some stuff was just really janky and didn't really take well to modern controllers. It still seems janky on the PS5, but this PC version seems to be very slightly different. It might just be in my imagination, but the camera seemed better, even though when you go into new rooms you'll likely get shanked in the face. But by turning down the speed of the camera on the controls, it makes it a little bit more tolerable. So I'll probably play Soul Reaver 2 until I get bored at least, and again that'll be a Steam Deck thing. Did I say Dreamcast earlier or Steam Deck? Well, it'll be a Steam Deck thing anyway. Next we have Nobody Wants to Die. This is about 3 to 5 hours long, film noir mystery type thing, but with sci-fi elements. I played the first hour or so of it and it's pretty cool so far. It does hold your hand a lot, so it feels like a walking simulator, but because there's a kind of hard limit of 3 to 5 hours of content in there, I'm probably not going to be bored quickly enough to bin that off. At least I'll get to the end of the story. It's nice enough so far and pretty enjoyable. Next is Dungeons of Hinterberg. It reminds me of a lot of other kinds of games I've played before. It's got elements of Tomb Raider in there and just general dungeon crawling roguelite type things. It's okay, but I was pretty bored by the end of the first dungeon, even with the minecart scene and all that kind of stuff, riding around and the puzzles. It's just something about it doesn't really grab me, but that's a me problem. As they say, it's not really the fault of these developers. The game is pretty nice and it's a good indie title from what I can tell. Next we have Tchia. That's a kind of Pacific Islander developed adventure game. There's lots of elements of their culture, even though the whole thing is a work of fiction. It's kind of cute. I'm pretty sure I played it somewhere before and I don't remember how far I got in that time. I found some of the little mini-game things built into it to be super annoying, but they do let you kind of have those on automatic pilot, so if you're like me and you just kind of get bored easy, then you can just ride through that. The game itself's not really for me. I've played the games that it takes elements from, like, you know, Breath of the Wild, all those kind of things, but yeah, I don't feel the need to play it, unfortunately. Next we have Sker Ritual, or Sker Ritual. Another Wales interactive game, but instead of being a horror story, it's more of a knockoff of Dead by Daylight, and as such I just didn't enjoy it. It's I didn't really pay enough attention to the controls, but it kind of throws you straight in. I'm shooting people in the face, didn't realise what I was meant to be doing. Again, it's just down to my lack of attention on that, but even if I knew exactly what I was doing, I don't see a reason why I would want to play it, especially by myself. Multiplayer, maybe it could get interesting, but again, I don't really play a lot of multiplayer games because it involves people. Next we have Biped. Biped is one of those kind of puzzle games that we've seen a million times before, but it's very, very nice. It's reminiscent of some of the stuff that the PlayStation guys have been doing with Astrobots. It found it kind of annoying, if I'm honest, but once it clicked, it was less so. But again, I still don't feel the urge to play it. But then again, I don't really feel the urge to play Super Monkey Ball, and that game was great. And then Havendock, which I wouldn't say I hated it, but I didn't really see the point of playing it. It's a lot of kind of almost like base building type stuff. The controls were a bit confusing on Steam Deck because it wants mouse and then control and shift for modifiers for the mouse, and I can't be asked making the Steam Deck have like the paddles for control and shift, so yeah, I didn't really get very far into it, unfortunately. I'm sure if this is for you, then you'll love this game, but for me, I was just out immediately. And then lastly, the curious edition of IGN Plus. I get it, they own Humble Bundle, well, Humble, but for me, it's just, you know, everything about it is pretty bad. The way they organise the giveaways and stuff and their keys is not particularly good. The content of the website itself is pretty terrible. Looking for things to do with the Switch 2. I was trying to find a headset that would work because my existing headsets don't apparently work with the Switch 2 just yet. And one of their biggest recommendations was the Arctis Nova 7X, which I have, which doesn't work. So clearly they don't even test the things that they're writing about, if they're even writing it at all, instead of just generating content. Either way, IGN Plus seems like a massive rip-off. It doesn't continue from last month's IGN Plus either. It's just new subscribers only, and just seems like a pile of wank. So that's it. That's kind of the kinds of moaning that I'm going to be doing on this channel, I'm afraid. I mean, I'm going to do a lot of... I've got a lot of videos planned that are bigging up games that I really, really, really loved. But for this month's Humble Choice, it just seems a bit... I mean, it feels like the stuff that was added as an afterthought is actually the stuff that I like Nobody Wants to Die. Yeah, so not a particularly good month for me, but if you've never played Soul Reaver and you like it, or if you like Boltgun or even Dungeons of Hinterberg, then it's probably worth it. But if not, then maybe not. So yeah, if you want more complaining, stay here. If you want me to be slightly more reasonable and factoring what might be good for other people, then the old channel is still going to be there until I get bored with that. So yeah, that's it. Fuck off.